Hello guys and gals, vays and gays, and any other creature lurking the internet. My name is Toonatic, and like every year, I dusted off that old microphone of mine to rattle down all the animated shows and movies I have watched in 2025. And boy howdy, it sure has been a year, hasn't it? Yeah, aside from the whole world seemingly going up in flames and whatnot, I decided to once again not think about man-made horrors beyond my comprehension and just focus on some good old animation, the stuff I actually know a thing or two about. So this is my third year in a row doing this, so why don't we take a look at this year's tier list. Coming in at the bottom we have the haven't seen finished it yet tier. Just as last year, this is for stuff I haven't had the chance to watch yet, or for stuff that I really don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Next up is the Who Let Bro Cook category. This is for some questionable stuff. Animated shows and movies where you're just like, what were they thinking? How did this get greenlit of all things? Next up is the mid category. This is stuff that wasn't very daring, didn't try anything new, and ended up being kind of boring because of that. Next up we got the pretty good / has potential category. This is for stuff and movies that I actually did enjoy, but I felt like they were just missing that teeny tiny little spark that made them really special. Now this honor would go to the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier. And I think I've knocked it out of the park naming this one. Just kidding. This name makes sense not only for people in the animation bubble, but people who watch movies in general, because my oh my, the name giver of this category, that sure made an impact on people in the world, but more of that once we actually get to this piece of animated media. The new category added this year is the Tuna's Hidden Gems and Faves tier. This is for stuff that struck a special chord with me, stuff that I'd love to recommend for people watching, insane pieces of art that deserve to be seen by more people. Okay, without any further ado, let's jump straight into the animation tier list of 2025! Woo!
This is art, Mr. White.
Starting things off strong is the current #1 animated movie of all time. When it comes to box office, I've actually already made a video about this movie, explaining what all the hype is about. You can actually do me a favor and watch my Neza video after this one. To make a long story short, Neza 2 is the sequel to the 2019 original Neza. It's a Chinese animated movie, and while basically no one knew about it in the West, people in China and the rest of Asia really liked it. And surprisingly, it beat Disney at its own game and became the highest grossing animated movie of all time. Which is just insane. Yeah, Neza 2 really swept the floor with Disney. And because of what this movie represents for the animation industry, I actually have to rank it in the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier. Now from a visual standpoint, this movie is also stunning. Like, it looks really impressive. The only slight qualm that could be had with this movie is that some of the jokes fall more on the very childish side. Like, we got your typical fart jokes, some poop jokes, some toilet humor. Some of it lands, some of it doesn't, but still, really impressive movie, really interesting story behind it. And for that reason, Neza 2 goes in the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier. Next up is Record of Ragnarok Season 3. I'm pretty sure I've been talking about this show for every single one of these animation tier videos. And I've always categorized it as mid, nothing outstanding. But you know what? I actually had an epiphany. This show might be mid, but I couldn't stop watching it. I felt so entertained by it. So it's basically just your typical sit back, relax, not think about anything anime. And that's actually just what I needed while I was watching this show. So, because it managed to entertain me, this year Record of Ragnarok is going in the pretty good category. Well done. Okay, buckle up, people. We're talking about Fiona and Cake Season 2. So while the show was airing, a lot of folks online didn't really like some of the episodes. They thought Fiona did some really questionable things, But I didn't mind it. I actually felt like it was mirroring Finn's arc, if you can call it arc. His physical body decaying corresponds to Fiona's mental state decaying. Like, she becomes more awful with the season going on. And Rebecca Sugar actually directed the last 2 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, and she wrapped everything up in a neat little bow. It was a really great payoff. I enjoyed it. I've become a huge fan of Huntress Wizard, and yeah, I enjoyed Fiona and Cake just as much as I did the first season, and I can't wait for more! So this one's going in the Tuna's Hidden Gems / Faves category. Guys, what if I told you that Dandadan Season 2 is my favorite anime of 2025? I really enjoy this franchise. It's just become my favorite anime. There, I said it. I enjoyed the first season so much that I ended up buying the manga after only watching the first episode. And because I read it first, I actually got to experience the second season in manga form first, and it was just such a treat to see how they adapted some scenes. Science Saru always elevates the source material in such a great way. I had a blast watching every single episode. Y'all, Dandadan, best anime ever. Golden honeymoon of animation. As well as, faves. It's just that good. It's really something special. I love it so much. I even went to see the first 3 episodes of the Evil Eye arc in cinemas back in summer, and rewatched the first 3 episodes once they were out on streaming. Like, yeah, Dandadan, the stuff they do with their colors and poses and animation, eye candy, great story, I love it. Please go watch it. Next up is the final season of My Hero Academia. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but yeah, this last season was also peak. I was at the edge of my seat during every episode, clawing at the chair. I don't know. I know the fandom has a reputation of being really cringe and annoying, but I'm more of a casual viewer. I don't engage in many fandoms actively. So, with that being said, if you take away all the fandom stuff, I don't even know if My Hero Academia fans are still considered this annoying. I haven't heard anything from them in a while. I felt like the finale really did the show justice. It was very epic, a lot of high stakes, and I think they wrapped things up neatly. I'm really glad I stuck with the show over the years, and I've always had a blast watching it. So if you stop watching this show, it's definitely worth picking it up again and finishing it. You won't be left disappointed. So, I'm also gonna put it in the Tuna's favorites tier. Next up, we got Loki IRL. This is the pilot episode to Rebel Taxi's original story, something he's been working on for a very long time. I've been a subscriber of his for many years, and it's really interesting to seeing the show go from sketches to scrap concepts to actually being a full-fledged half-hour animated piece of media. I know there was a bit of complaining online because Rebel Taxi voices a lot of the characters by himself, which kind of took away some of the enjoyment of viewing this pilot for some people. I didn't mind it. I think indie projects like this should always be elevated. It's really cool to finally see all his hard work pay off. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more Loki IRL. And that's why this pilot is going in the pretty good has potential category. Okay, this is a really special show. It's insane. It's totally bonkers. Perfect to watch during Christmas time, I guess. It's about this 14-year-old boy who goes to a school and lives in a world where it's frowned upon to become an adult. And whenever he puts on something red or like a red piece of clothing, he transforms into a very handsome Santa Claus with Santa powers, everything. This show also has Yuri in it, which is a nice bonus. I actually was really looking forward to watching this, not only because of the Yuri, but also because this is from the author of Beastars, if you couldn't tell by the art style, and I really love that art style. It's very expressive, it's very cool, and that's why this show intrigued me. I'm gonna put Sanda in the pretty good has potential category. Like I said, crazy premise, wild show, insane plot. If you're in the mood to be constantly thinking, what the fuck am I watching? Or if you are in a festive mood, I don't know, go watch Sanda. Going from wintertime to summertime, we got the summer Hikaru died. This show fucks with your mind in a whole different way. It's about these two kids living in this rural Japanese town, and one of them, Hikaru, actually dies up in the mountain, and his corpse gets possessed by something. And this something tries to blend in normal society, but his friend knows that's not Hikaru anymore and confronts this thing. And this is where the show starts off. Really deep, really psychological, cool stuff. Go watch it. It's awesome. It's very deep and also very pretty to look at. That's why it's going in the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier as well. If I had a nickel for every time Netflix turns a video game property into an animated show, I'd have a bunch of nickels. Devil May Cry is one of the latest entries into that category. I haven't played the games, but I was familiar with the premise enough, and I really enjoyed this show for what it was. The characters were compelling, the soundtrack was very edgy, but in a good way. The songs they used, that was really cool. That was really funny, like, it was giving 2010s AMV for sure. In the best way possible. Yeah, but Devil May Cry has a really interesting villain. It has deep characters, awesome soundtrack. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but you get it. If you like all the other video game adaptation Netflix does, you sure won't be disappointed here. The Devil May Cry Netflix show is going in the pretty good category. There's definitely still some potential left. I've seen that they've already announced a second season. I'm guessing this will come out in 2026. And let's see how Devil May Cry Season 2 will hold up in next year's ranking. I feel like every year there's at least one show that comes along that totally engrosses you with its premise, and you can't stop thinking about it even long after you've finished watching it. Common Side Effects was this show for me in 2025. It was such an intense show. Government cover-ups, trippy visuals, emotional deep storylines, and the best part is also a bunch of tortoises. That's very important. Now, don't be put off by the character design. This show is a must-watch. Trust me, it's gonna be worth your time. I don't want to spoil anything at all, actually. Just go in it blind. It's 10 episodes, I believe. You'll be engrossed in no time. Common Side Effects, easy Hidden Gems faves tier. Please go watch it if you haven't already. Continuing with the next entry on my list, we got Iyanu. I really hope I'm saying that right. This show does look amazing. I've only heard good things about it. The only problem is I have not seen it yet, but this show definitely is on the very top of my to-watch list. But I will do it in 2026, I promise. That's why Iyanu is going to the haven't seen it yet category. Now, I actually did watch Dogman. This movie had a very charming art style and was incredibly funny. The movie was insane in the regard that there was, like, when you think about it, some really, really dark stuff going on with the main character, where basically a policeman and his dog were stitched together into one entity after an accident on the job, which is like a bit of an ethical problem if you think about it. I don't know, it matches the insanity of the movie a lot. Definitely check it out. It was a great watch. Very funny, very entertaining, and also very heartfelt. The villains were very likable. And for that reason, Dogman is going to the pretty good category. Lost in Starlight is a Korean animated movie that released on Netflix in 2025. Now, the plot is just this very, very heartfelt and beautiful love story between two characters. There's also some really high stakes, with one of them flying to Mars and the other one staying behind but being supportive of her nonetheless. And whew, it just hit me in the feels. It was a really good movie. The animation is amazing and definitely something you have to watch if you are in the mood for a film to really, really tug at your heartstrings. I have nothing but praise for this film, so that's why it's going in the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier. Definitely a hard recommend. As a huge enjoyer of the Vox Machina show, I was delighted to see that the people behind the show were working on another series based on Critical Role. The Mighty Nine lives up to its predecessor, and if you enjoyed Vox Machina, it's just basically a continuation of the greatness of the first show with new characters and a new cast, and it is just as entertaining and good and heartfelt and emotional and soul-destroying and fun as the original. So, really cool characters. Another thing that was really funny to me was that some of the characters do speak German from time to time, but you can tell the voice actors don't usually speak in German, which just makes it more fun to watch, honestly.
Guten Morgen, Mutter. Wo ist Vater?
Wildschweine haben den Zaun wieder zerstört.
Ich werde ihn holen, bevor euer vorzüglicher Haferbrei kalt wird.
I've heard that they've actually invented a whole new language for the German dub of the show, which is also insane, so A+ for effort.
Geht dem Jürgen mit. Wo ist Vater?
Wildschweine haben den Zaun wieder zerstört.
Ich werde ihn kühlen, bevor euer vorzüglicher Haferbrei kalt wird.
Anyways, the Mighty Nine, definitely going into my favorites. High recommend. Great characters, love their dynamics. They're all such goofballs, but so entertaining to watch, and you just can't help yourself but root for these characters. 2025 also saw the release of a new Anne of Green Gables adaptation in anime form. And I actually grew up watching the original anime from the 70s, I believe. So I was really curious about how the new show would turn out. And I was positively surprised. This show really tugs at your heartstrings. It's just, it captures the iconic scenes of the book in a great way. I think it condenses the whole story into one season, if I'm not mistaken. And seeing the main character and Shirley grow up over the course of the show is really satisfying to see. All the characters grow as people and actually find their way in life. It's just really nice. That's why the 2025 Anne Shirley anime adaptation is going into the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier as well. Oh, there we go. Wild Pack is a Nickelodeon cartoon that premiered earlier in 2025. I was intrigued because of the art style, and I hadn't seen a Nickelodeon cartoon in a while, so I was like, well, I'm gonna give this a chance. Looks interesting. I like the art style a lot. Let's see how it is. And I've watched quite a few episodes, and I liked what I saw. It was a good show. I know it's not getting as much buzz as other things that premiered this year, but nonetheless, it was still a really entertaining show to watch. Very wholesome, great art style, I recommend. Another thing that I have to mention about the show is that the dad character has like these weird markings on his arm, and for the longest time, I could not tell whether these were supposed to be like tattoos or arm hair. I was very unsure, so I tried to look it up, and turns out, most likely, these are supposed to be tattoos of clouds. Anyway, with that mystery out of the way, you can actually watch the first episode on YouTube, see if you like the vibe, and maybe continue watching the show if you like what you see. For me, Wild Pack definitely was pretty good. It has a lot of potential, and I believe there's also been a second season greenlit already, which is great news. We gotta promote original animated shows. Folks, I gotta be honest, this might be the first mid-entry on my tier list. So this was like an extra long episode / movie thing they released on Netflix. And I was kind of bored while watching it. It was nothing special. I mean, the character designs were good, I guess. But the story was kind of boring. It loosely tried to adapt some of the Little Mermaid story by Hans Christian Andersen into the plot, but that also didn't do it for me. At least it was watchable, I guess, but I would not go out of my way and recommend this movie. Unfortunately for me, The Witcher: Sirens of the Deep was mid at best. People, I don't think this film needs an introduction. Man, oh man, let me tell you, I'm so glad this movie got the attention and praise that it deserved. I remember seeing concept art of this film being in development back in 2021 or 2022, and I was like, oh, this looks cool, I can't wait to watch it. But then we didn't hear anything for a couple of years, and I was pretty sure they canceled it until May of 2025. There was this trailer that released, and they were basically like, yeah, this movie's actually dropping on June 20th, so go and watch it, I guess. And I was really looking forward to this film. I liked the choppy-ish animation style they used. I liked the expressions the characters have. It seemed it would be a very fun film. And guys, then this movie came out. And it totally took over the world. It's basically... The songs were everywhere. I mean, they still kind of are. They even play on the radio, which is insane. I've seen a lot of really young kids, as well as adults and teens, people of any age basically enjoying this film. It's a great movie. You all have watched it already. You all have heard the songs. It's yet another win for Sony Animation. And man, I could talk all day about this movie. It really reminds me of the impact the first Frozen movie had back in 2013. You just can't escape this film, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Now you already know K-pop Demon Hunters has to go into the golden honeymoon of animation tier. You get it, guys, right? 100 Meters is an anime film that premiered on Netflix in very late 2025. That's why I didn't get the chance to see it yet. That's why it's going in the haven't seen yet tier. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Now, 2025 also saw the release of the second season of Hasbin Hotel. A lot of critics said that the first season was really rough around the edges. There was a lot of stuff, especially with pacing, that could have been improved. I don't know if the second season improved its pacing. People had even more complaints, I feel like, with this season. They didn't like how the main character Charlie acted a lot of the time. However, one thing that actually got a lot of praise was the main villain Vox, who was a really cool antagonist in the second season. And I think the finale actually wrapped up everything quite nicely. I like the finale of the first season as well. So, I don't know, I'm more of a casual viewer of Hasbin Hotel, so I'm not into the fandom that much. Some of the songs were nice as well, I gotta say. You guys, I have to put it into the mid category. It just didn't do it for me. Some of the scenes or some of the episodes I feel could actually make it into the pretty good has potential tier. But if you take a look at the second season as a whole, it's mid with some standout scenes. Now, Pixar also released a movie this summer. This one is called Elio, I don't remember. And not remembering is kind of a key phrase here because I don't actually recall that much about this movie. So it was kind of forgettable. It was fine. I've seen worse from Disney and Pixar, but it wasn't anything too special either. So the main character is sent into space to be the spokesperson for all of humankind, but it's actually kind of a mix-up because he's just a kid and now he has to speak for all of humanity. I do like the friendship dynamic he had going on with this one maggot-like alien. That guy was really cute. I mean, I guess the moral of the story was also really nice. I don't want to spoil it too much, but Yeah, I feel like K-pop Demon Hunters really swept the floor with this movie. Like, nobody's talking about Elio. I really hope Pixar's Beaver movie coming out in 2026 will make more of a buzz than Elio did. So for now, Elio is also going into the mid category. This movie wasn't awful, but it also didn't do anything special that would elevate it into any higher tier. Bad Girl is a Yuri anime about the schoolgirl that tries to impress her crush and be like a really bad vigilante type of character, but deep down she's just really cute and sweet, and none of the other characters actually buy her shtick. It's a comedy anime, and I mean, it had potential, but it wasn't anything special. I also haven't finished it yet. Maybe it gets better towards the end, but I mean, it had some fun scenes, but from what I've seen, it's average at best, nothing special. So Bad Girl is also going into the mid-tier. Let's talk about Wolf King, another Netflix show. Now, the premise and especially the setting of the show was very interesting. Basically, the main character is like the last werewolf in this world inhabited by were-creatures. The were-creatures reside in different clans based on their animal. And I thought I would give this show a chance because I thought it looked really cool. And would I recommend this show? Well, I say if you're into that sort of fantasy stuff, definitely. It was a perfectly fine show. There's also a second season in the works already, which is great. So yeah, check out Wolf King if you're into that sort of story. For me, from what I've seen, it's going into the high mid and almost pretty good category. Haunted Hotel is a show that looks like it was made for kids, but it has a lot of grown-up humor, a lot of brutal stuff going on. It's about this family living / renting out this haunted hotel, get it? Which is occupied by like tons of ghosts and monsters. The hotel also never gets any guests. And yeah, it just basically follows these characters around as they try to master their daily life in a place as crazy as this. Now, at first, the art style kind of threw me off, because if you look at it, it kind of resembles these lazy-ish, cheap-looking adult cartoons Netflix loves to do, but after only the first episode, my view of the show totally changed. The animation's actually really fluid most of the time, and yeah, it looks great. The premise is really fun, the characters are very likable. I know the show hasn't gotten as much buzz as it maybe deserves, but I know one character has kind of got a little bit of hype, which is great to see. I really want to see a second season of this show. It was really great. Highly recommend watching it. If you it's 10 episodes long, I believe. So if you have like a weekend to spare, you can definitely binge this show. You will not regret it. Haunted Hotel is going into my hidden gems favorites of this year, because I can strongly recommend it to anybody. Now, an anime that really shook the world in 2025 was Takopi's Original Sin. I had seen the trailer beforehand, and I was really enamored by the art style, which is basically all it takes for me to check out a show. If your show / movie has an interesting art style, 90% of the time, I'm gonna check it out. And damn, this anime hits really hard. Now, don't be fooled by the cute chibi-esque character designs. This show will gobble you down, devour you, spit you out, and then also spit on you afterwards. It is brutal. Like, there's so much abuse going on, so much death and despair, and I loved every minute of it. Basically, every episode ends with a what the heck, and everything you think you knew about the show's premise is flipped on its head, and all the rules basically get re-rolled. Yeah, so every episode was a surprise, and I'm really glad I had a whole week of actually digesting what I had just watched before the next episode released. I also actually bought the manga just because I liked the show so much, and my sibling has read it and they absolutely loved it as well. I really, really recommend watching the show. There's just a bunch of trigger warnings beforehand, a lot of physical abuse going on, a lot of death, a lot of emotional abuse as well, so just keep that in mind. But nonetheless, Takopi's Original Sin is an incredible story. After every episode, I felt like that one cow meme on the beach. Takopi's Original Sin is going into the favorites of this year, definitely. Now let's talk about Fixed. When this movie was announced, I remember people being really weirded out. And rightfully so, oh my god. We finally got a 2D animated movie, but at what cost? Well, as you can see from the footage, it's about a dog who's afraid of being neutered, and he wants to, get down and dirty once before it's his time. Now, this movie was made by the legendary Genndy Tartakovsky, and that is also something people were really confused by because made some of the best shows and movies ever. He's the creator of Samurai Jack, of Primal, which I really freaking adore, and he also worked on Hotel Transylvania before it got bad. Yeah, so Fixed had a lot of sexual themes going on, dirty jokes, toilet humor, literally. Now, I went into this movie thinking, Genndy Tartakovsky's made some legendary stuff, so let this man have some fun. If he wants to make a movie about a dog's balls, sure, more power to you. Well, in my opinion, it didn't really stick the landing when it came to being a good movie. I mean, you can kind of see it in the comments under the trailer. Yeah. R-rated animated movie doesn't automatically mean it has to be gross. I think that's something the Western world still has to learn. So I'm putting Fixed in the Who Let Bro Cook category. It was an insane watch. I can't believe they've actually released it. Definitely a movie you wouldn't want to be caught watching when somebody walks in on you. Yeah, so that was Fixed. When I heard that my favorite indie studio, Glitch, was working together with one of my favorite cartoon creators, Dana Terrace, the person behind the Owl House, I was more than thrilled. You're telling me this woman is working with the creators of The Amazing Digital Circus on a 2D animated show? Words cannot describe how hyped I was for this project. And when the pilot episode came out, it was all I could ever hope for. It was such an interesting concept, great execution, the characters are awesome. You can clearly see the Dana Terrace style within the character designs. Just good stuff. If you haven't watched Knights of Gwyavir, I strongly suggest you do so as soon as possible. Now currently only the pilot episode is out. I'm really hoping they will make more of this because that's some good stuff. Knights of Gwyavir is definitely going into my Hidden Gems faves. Now, Gacha Couta is a show I was immediately interested in after seeing the trailer because, like a lot of things on this list, I was intrigued by the cool art style. And I did like the show. I thought the power system or the way the characters' weapons work was incredibly interesting and really cool. The character designs are insane, man. That is to be expected if the mangaka looks like this. Yeah, Gacha Couta is really cool. I don't want to spoil too much. If you like cool shonen anime, definitely watch this one. And I'm putting it in the pretty good category. I feel like I say this every year, but every time I've done this list, there's at least one short series, or limited series, whatever you want to call it, that just is so thought-provoking and goes so deep and shakes you to your core in the best way possible. One of his shows this year, for me, was Long Story Short. Now, this Netflix show follows a Jewish family, to be more precise, 3 siblings, and it jumps throughout different time periods, showing how they grew up and became the way they are right now. It doesn't hold back when it comes to emotions. It's the plot structure or the way they tell their story is really interesting. How they jump between different time periods, or also how different characters react to the same event. One that was a positive memory for one family member could be traumatic for another. I believe it's only 10 episodes long, but man, these 10 episodes, I couldn't stop watching. It was just so good. It's It's really great. It's going into the Tuna's faves tier, for sure. The Gaslight District was another pilot by Glitch that premiered in 2025. Now, Glitch really delivered this year when it comes to bringing out original animated projects. Gaslight District, I thought it was fine. I didn't like it as much as other people did, but just cause it wasn't my type of story, I guess. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this pilot. It's just comes down to personal preferences. I didn't get as invested into this pilot as I did with Knights of Gwyavir, for example, but I'm still looking forward to see what the Gaslight District holds in the future, if they decide to make more episodes, and that's why this pilot is going into the pretty good has potential tier. Next up is the final season of Castlevania Nocturne. Now, season 2 of the show was way better than the first season. The stakes were much higher. I really loved the animation and the way certain characters develop. Like, the finale or the final arc was insane, and I definitely recommend you give this show a watch if you enjoyed the first Castlevania show. Because, man, season 2 of Nocturne is where it really gets good, you guys. Trust me, it's really worth it. And that's why Castlevania Nocturne is also going into the pretty good tier. After a mid-first season, they really ended up pulling it together in the end. And for that, I applaud Castlevania Nocturne. Season 3 of Invincible was another thing that came out in 2025. I thought it was alright. I do enjoy Invincible. I've said before the animation can be a bit limited, but when the show decides to get serious, it really does deliver, especially the gory moments. Something I really enjoy. And man, I do love me a good bloodbath. Now, this season also ended up killing one of my favorite characters, which was bold of them to do. They gave them a really worthy send-off. So if you enjoyed the first seasons of Invincible, you'll also like this one. So I'm putting this one between mid and pretty good has potential. Probably more towards the pretty good tier. That's just how I feel at the moment. Nobody is a Chinese animated movie that premiered in 2025, and as of recording this video is the most recent thing I've actually watched. This movie puts a unique spin on the famous Journey to the West, and follows these 4 characters that pretend to be the heroes of the original story in their quest to become immortal. Now, the qualms I had with Neza and Neza 2, that I thought the jokes were kind of immature and didn't always land for me, this movie totally does deliver on the funny factor. The comedic timing is perfect, it's hilarious at times, but man, this movie also packs a punch when it comes to its emotional scenes. All the things and plot points that were set up, even as a joke, pay off wonderfully in the end, and Nobody is definitely one of my favorite animated films I've watched in 2025. I mean, just look at these character designs. They're so cool. I love their shapes. So definitely one of my hidden gems and more niche recommendations of this year. Now, I've been a defender of Rick and Morty for the past couple of years, but is it a bad thing that I don't really recall anything that happened in this season? The only things, or the only episodes that I can think of at the top of my head were the one where Jerry transforms into a were-rabbit. I also like the time skip episode, or it was more of an alternate reality episode, but I like the character designs they did for this one. So, not being like an ultra fan of Rick and Morty, and more of a casual enjoyer of the series, I gotta say, Season 8 was alright, but I can't rank it any higher than mid-tier, because I can't really recall a lot of it, which means that it probably wasn't as memorable. 2025 also saw the release of the second season of Pokemon Concierge, stop-motion animated Netflix show, and it's just as wholesome as the first season. It's just really cozy, laid back. The stakes aren't very high, it's just a good time. I think it's also a very short show. I believe one season contains like 4 episodes or something, but it's a nice and relaxing watch if you just want to see some Pokemon being cute. So Pokemon Concierge was pretty good as well. Now last year I praised the second best hospital in the galaxy as one of my favorite hidden gems of 2024. And I was really glad to see that this show got a second season in 2025. And all the things I liked about the first season got expanded on. And the plot was even better than the first season. These two main characters are such a mess and I love it. While the first season focused on one of the female leads' backstory, the second season focuses on the other woman. And man, it's also really good and interesting. And I really love this show. You should really watch it. It's on Prime. So, highly recommend the second best hospital in the galaxy. Harley Quinn Season 5 was something I almost forgot that I watched this year. I don't know. I have watched a lot of things in 2025. This time, the girls move to Metropolis, home of Superman, and get into all sorts of new trouble. My favorite episode was definitely the one where Poison Ivy gets haunted by one of her past demons, and we get more of her backstory, which is always great. This season was just as bonkers as the other ones, and I really enjoyed it. Wasn't my favorite season of the show. I'm putting it into a strong mid-tier. My Happy Marriage Season 2 didn't quite do it for me, I'm afraid. While I praised the first season for its plot and how it can give hope to characters that feel like they don't deserve anything in life, the second season felt kind of boring in comparison because most of the problems were resolved by the first season. I didn't like that most of it took place at this, like, military base or whatever. I do like the new character they introduced, but it just felt kind of boring after a while, because of the strong premise the first season had. So unfortunately, My Happy Marriage Season 2 is going into the mid category. Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze arc, was also really good. It tells the story of Reze, just like the title says, who gets introduced in this film. Now, the plot of the movie doesn't really make sense for people who haven't seen the first season of Chainsaw Man. Fortunately, I did watch the first season, and yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. This movie has a ton of wacky shenanigans and crazy character moments the series is known for. Reze is a really cool character with a great design, especially in her devil form. The choreography was also insane. The fighting scenes were really cool. I loved it a lot. I was on the edge of my seat watching this. So I'm putting the Chainsaw Man movie in the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier. Next up, we got Volume 4 of Love, Death and Robots, one of my favorite animated series Netflix has done. The fourth season was kind of weird, a little bit of a letdown in my opinion. The stories were fine, most of them were, at least, but one thing that people didn't like is that they put a lot of emphasis on the voice actors. Most of them were celebrities, and people thought that they should focus more on highlighting the animators and studios behind these shorts and not the voice actors. I mean, you can see it in the comments. A lot of people are saying that they don't care about how famous the voice actors are. They're just here to enjoy some good animation, man. And I'm still really baffled. Like, who thought putting Mr. Beast in Love, Death and Robots was a good idea? That just gave me total whiplash. And I liked the short too, but then Mr. Beast showed up and I was like, what's going on? Are you kidding me? But yeah, most of the shorts were nice, and I still think that Love, Death and Robots has to go into the pretty good has potential tier. But you're on thin ice, you better deliver next season. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to watch the second season of Ranma yet. I'm guessing it'll still be really good, but for now, it has to go into the haven't seen it yet tier. Arrow is the latest short released by one of my favorite animation studios, Cartoon Saloon. They're known for their incredible movies. A lot of the times, the stories they tell focus on Irish folklore, or just folklore in general. They've branched out a bit over the years, and Arrow is a 13-minute short. They released as part of Herstory Month in 2025, and I just really love the shapes the character designs have. I also like that you can still see the sketch underlines in their animation. This short had a lot of that as well. which is just, oh yeah, reminds me of like Disney movies from the 60s and 70s. That's the good stuff, man. And Eru was a really incredible short. The story was awesome. I loved what they were able to tell in such a short amount of time. Definitely going into the golden honeymoon of animation tier. Like, I can't recommend Cartoon Saloon movies and shorts enough. Like, just watch their whole catalog if you have a chance to. You will love every single movie of theirs. Okay, we have arrived at season 3 of Smiling Friends. Man, oh man, I am in love with the show so much. It's so wacky, so great. I'm obsessed with it. And just like season 1 and 2, there's still scenes or jokes from this new season that I think about every day. They've become part of my life. Like this one.
Cool. So, that's it? Hello? Oop. Oh my gosh. Yo guys, it's me, Charlie. Hey, did that guy just turn into Saiyan?
I don't know why. Like, the funniest thing they do is also when they implement rotoscoping. These jokes just land every single time, man. It's so funny. Definitely one of my favorite things I've watched in 2025, man. Smiling Friends Season 3 is going into my favorites. 2025 also saw the release of the second season of Solo Leveling. The complaints I had with the first season was that it was just like this male power fantasy. The character is kind of a Mary Sue, and the female characters don't really have a lot to do. The first 2 points weren't really improved on in the second season, but the female characters did play a little bit of a bigger role. To be fair, most of the things she does in this show were always in correlation to the main character. She was always just talking about him or reacting to him or thinking about him, so she didn't have a time to shine like on her own. That was really sad because I thought she was an interesting character. The fights were still cool, the choreography is great, but I just am not in love with the main character. He is kind of an asshole. He's kind of boring to watch as well. And that's what puts Solo Leveling into the mid category for me. It improved on some of the qualms I had with the first season, but I feel like there's still room for improvement. Panji Tangorak is an Indonesian animated movie, 2D animated movie, that released on Netflix in 2025. That immediately piqued my interest. The premise is sort of this revenge story of this lone wolf type of main character, but when I sat down and watched it, the flaws were clear immediately. The animation looks more like a rough draft rather than a finished product. It reminds me a lot of like internet fan animations. The characters have inconsistent proportions and they're also very choppy at times. The story was interesting enough, but the execution was really lacking. Unfortunately, the shortcomings in the animation did impact my enjoyment of this film a lot. But I still think it's really cool that international animated productions are being made and have the potential to be seen by the whole world, so please keep them coming. Sadly, Panji Tangorak is still going into the mid-tier because, yeah, unfortunately the animation was still too distracting. Next up we got Zootopia 2, and I was so excited to see this film. I actually waited quite a while after it was released to be able to watch it, just because I wanted to watch it with the same people I saw the original one 10 years ago. And yeah, it has really been 10 years since the first Zootopia released. And coincidentally, we even managed to watch it in the same cinema. We did watch the first one a decade ago, and let me tell you, it was worth it. Not only did we have a lot of fun meeting up again, but the movie was also incredibly entertaining as well. I've heard nothing but praise about this film. Well, if you go and see it, you will not be disappointed. The story was very compelling, the characters were just as great as in the first one, and the plot was even more intense and delved even more into corruption than the first one. The jokes and Easter eggs were also incredibly hilarious. I liked the Ratatouille joke. That one was really good. The new characters they introduced were also very likable, and yeah, overall just a great movie. I have seen people online talking about how this is like the comeback of Disney. Zootopia 2 was a good start. However, I wouldn't go as far as to say that Disney is back on their A game yet. Zootopia 2 was a great film. I believe it made a ton of money already, but we'll have to wait and see how the next Disney movies turn out. But Zootopia 2 did everything right. Great watch. It finally made me feel something again, like damn. I experienced genuine emotions watching this film. And that's why it's definitely going into the Golden Honeymoon of Animation tier. But it could very well also be one of my favorite movies this year. And the rest of the stuff on this list is films and series I didn't watch yet. Well, I've seen the first episode of Togen Anki and I thought it was pretty decent. It kind of gave me Blue Exorcist vibes, so that was cool. Really looking forward to watching the Fujimoto short stories series. Haven't seen either of the 2 SpongeBob movies this year. I've heard they're not really good, and speaking of not really good, the Smurfs movie was horrendous. I did not watch a lot of Gumball, so I also didn't watch the movie that apparently came out in 2025. All You Need Is Kill looks great. I'm really looking forward to it, as well as Little Amelie. Cool style, and I bet I will enjoy it. Bad Jelly is a show I'm also really looking forward to, and the Scarlet movie hasn't premiered yet in my country. We'll see how that is. It's a 3D animated anime movie with an insane sounding revenge plot, so sign me up. Soy Frankelda is a stop motion animated movie from Mexico, which just sounds so interesting and cool. I can't wait to watch it. I haven't seen the newest season of Spy Family yet. Also looking forward to watching this. I know this show by Pixar had some controversy in 2025 because they removed one episode that focused on a trans kid, which kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm not sure if I should check out the show or not. And I also didn't have a chance to watch the new episodes of Sakamoto Days. Apothecary Diaries Season 2 is also supposed to be really good, but I really want to take my time with this show. I want to sit down and be able to focus all my energy into this new season. So I've just been waiting for the right moment to watch it. Bad Guys 2? I haven't heard anything about this movie. I don't know if it's any good or not. We'll see. I'll definitely have to check it out in 2026. And that was my animation tier list of 2025. Do you agree with my picks, or is there anything you would have put in a different tier? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also, tell me about any show/movie I've missed. Because, God knows, this wasn't everything that released last year. Thank you so much for watching. I definitely have a lot of cool projects planned for 2026, and I hope you'll check them out once they release. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hype this video, because apparently that's a thing now. See you in the next video. Bye!